Hi, it's Hazel. Welcome to my channel. I have pretty well everything I own gathered around me. Not quite. For day 80, oh dear. Let me just check my little book. I think it's day 82. Yes, day 82 of the 100-day project. Today we are talking about Anaglypta wallpaper. And in case you're not familiar with that term, another maybe more common description would be paintable wallpaper. And I don't know how much interest you have in home decor trends and so on, but this definitely had its day as being very, very popular. Now, I know it might not be the easiest thing in the world to see this white on white, but I'll just show you that this, like wallpaper, the rolls are 20.5 inches long. So what I did, and I have several rolls. In fact, I just cracked a brand new one open today to do this video. So what I did was I took my do you know what a carpenter square is? Whoops, am I in shot? This is a big one. They come in different sizes. Anyway, I took my square to the island, kitchen island, and I took these rolls of wallpaper because I thought if I'm going to be talking about and doing some stuff with the wallpaper, I might as well also pre-cut some pieces that will be more useful to me. So I'll just quickly show you the different designs here because we won't be working on all of them. This is probably my favorite because back in the day when paint effects were all the rage and people were doing all sorts of wild and crazy stuff to their walls, like sponging and harlequin designs and so on. There was something also called Venetian plaster. And I so very much loved the look of it. But of course, that would have been a huge undertaking to attempt to do that on a wall, like a featured wall. A multi-step process, so needless to say, I never did it. I just coveted it. So I was happy to find this kind of paper. This is the one that I just cut open today, and it almost looks like a, well, I was going to say a cable knit sweater or something like that, but not really. Anyway, it's got all these stripes with different designs. This one is a very deep and sort of puffy design. It looks like foliage. And some of these you can see that, they're a bit beat up. Some of them are, were damaged. So I had to, of course, trim that off before I... Oh, and the reason I pulled out my square, in case, it's possible to buy these sorts of things at garage sales and in hardware stores. So obviously, because it's metal, the corner is going to be a true 90-degree angle. And I know that the idea of having things of measuring and precision just really turns people off. And, I can go with the flow. I can go either way. I do think there are times, though, when starting out with something that is square and plumb and true just makes life easier. So that's why I use this. So when I had the wallpaper spread out on the island, I just found, I lined it up with the factory edge because that should have been precise. And then cut out chunks that were 9 inches, 9 or 10 inches, I can't remember now, tall, so that I had some possibilities. So this one, is this the one I showed you just a while ago? This one is very nice as well. And then there's this one that looks like those, whoops, those texturized ceilings that many of us had back in the day. So that is that. So these pieces now, I'll, I guess, put somewhere to flatten out. But at least this is more manageable than thinking, boy, I'd like to do something with some Anaglypta wallpaper, but oh, it's all over there in rolls. So let me get this out of the way. So the next thing, oh, I should also show you this one. I don't know why I can't seem to find the roll for this one. But this, too, is really nice. And it kind of course, it would have been vertical on the wall. This kind of looks to me almost, it could almost mimic grass cloth, which, of course, we know is a kind of a really, if it's real grass cloth, is really an expensive wallpaper. Okay, so what I did was, I've got a bunch of oddball shaped pieces here to work on. Oh, and I also, because I've obviously done something with this in the past, it seems to me I made a book cover, if I'm not mistaken. Probably made it, but never finished it. Anyway, I had all these strips, and you can see they're not, it's all the same stuff, and they're not even in size. But what I did was cut them all to, I think, 10 inches, 11 inches. Now, these two will be, once they're trimmed, will be ready to go and more likely to get used. So let's get that out of the way. So, and let me just cover my space here with, I think this is parchment paper, if I'm not mistaken. I'll use a couple pieces because, you know, it's not that wide. Okay, so what I have assembled here is my toilet paper. Are some pans of watercolor. We're going to try, because I made these little guys quite small. Some of these were damaged edges that I had to, you know, obviously cut off before I could get to a good piece. So we're going to try a variety of surfaces on, excuse me, on this. And because these pieces are small, excuse me, I'm thinking that I'll get through several of them. Because, again, they're small. So, and this time, instead of using the little puny brush that is always within reach, I picked some better watercolor brushes. And, you know, the advantage to them is that they hold more water and you can kind of get further along with the process. Now, I didn't, and I don't have any here within reach. This is one of those long bristle brushes that are intended for, you know, sort of Chinese painting. So we can play with this as well and see what happens. And then there's this bristle brush that, you know, you maybe use for cutting in around doors or something. For a dry brush, oh, well, we'll see. We may not be able to do anything with this since I didn't bring any acrylic around. Okay, so we've got that. And maybe that's where we should begin. And then we'll just see what else unfolds. I don't need all of these other than... okay, I'll use this one. And I brought the Sakura colors just because they're metallics, and sometimes metallics, you know, are just the ticket. So I'll put that there. And again, because I have so very much stuff going on here, you're not going to be able to see every little thing, but you're going to forgive me for that because Do you really need to see me swishing out my brush in a jar of water? No. Or wetting it? No. Or blotting it on this toilet paper roll? No. Okay, so let's begin somewhere. And this is going to be quite random. Since this one reminds me of foliage, maybe the logical thing to do, let me just spritz these. Where's the end here? Spritz the green. Maybe that one. Just to get, you know, to sort of maybe make it a little more. I'm going to use this brush. So, actually, what would be better? Maybe I should spritz some of this dried up paint on here. And then add a bit more green there. And so we've got a bit more quantity to work with. I mean volume, not quantity. So let's, and again, we're doing this together. So you can see that if I just sort of hold my brush sideways, I'm just hitting the high spots. And that could certainly create an effect. And then you can, you know, with less water, get a more intense, let's maybe get this a little browner. A little browner, she said. You know, so here basically, can you see? The drawing has been done for you. And you're just making you're just coloring. And you can see how by adding, you know, just mixing a bit of color on your palette, you can get some interest happening, as well as, you know, some kind of additional depth to the, whoa, did you see how I just contaminated the color there? Oh, but now we get kind of more mossy green. So, like, I don't know about you, but I think that's pretty darn cool. Honestly, I didn't really intend to do the whole piece with one technique, but I like it, so what the heck? What the heck indeed. Now, by doing this, of course, I'll now have a piece that's big enough to actually do something with. Whoa, that was kind of intense. Let me tone that down. Whoopsie. And by sort of jumping from place to place on here, I'm also ensuring, other than over here where it's almost like a phthalo green. Whoa. Let me just, I didn't bring a paper towel, but if I just blot that, you can see that it's not quite as intense. Okay, so this, I'm pretty happy with how this is going. So I'll just quickly finish this corner, and we'll see. Oh, see, I didn't think about where am I going to put all these things to dry within reach here. And again, you know, so here, let me just pick this up a bit. So you can see that here I've got some, what is it? Raw umber, no, a sienna, or I don't know, I can't see the burnt sienna going. Now that kind of is almost isolated there. But if, whoops, not that. If I decide that, oh, I really like this piece as it is, I can always come back in later and, you know, just drop in some color where it feels like it might help the situation. Now this is looking very, see here in this corner, this is where I started, and it's very sort of, you know, like paint box colors. So I think that is brilliant, if I do say so myself. So let me set that one aside, swish this, blot my brush on here, and grab for another piece. Oh, this is the same paper because it had damage in it. Oh, and again, the same paper. Well, why can't we go sort of tropical this time? And maybe I should see, what do I have here? Jeez. Oh, that was scary. I thought I tipped over my, my water. And I do have like a desk mat protecting my antique wooden desk, but that wouldn't have helped. Okay, so let's maybe spritz this pad as well. Kind of maybe thought I'd go a little tropical this time if possible. So let's pick up, and again, I don't know what you can see. Maybe I'll move this one out of range and bring this one in a little closer. So these are sort of pearlized colors. Oh, 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 love it. And again, this is probably not the recommended way to mix colors. That's why they gave you a palette, Hazel. But is it not effective? Okay, cool. So this one, as I said, these are sort of iridescent colors, kind of metallic-y. Oh, and when I drag it across this way as opposed to following the design, you know, instead of going with the grain, it, you know, it gives you a different effect. Is it a good thing or a bad thing? Yeah, I don't know. I guess it depends on how you're feeling that day. Oh, I cannot believe how much fun this is. So I hope that, who knows, maybe you've got a roll of, well, if you had a roll of this in your house, you would have used it by now. Who am I kidding? You would have seen the potential. Love it. And again, same thing applies. If I want to come back and add something more to it, so you can see just in comparison, way more color here than here. Something has just fallen. You're lucky it's not me. You know that whole line about I've fallen and I can't get up? Sorry, guys. I'm just trying to maintain some sense of something here. Okay. Should we try something different? because we're at the 19-minute mark. Okay, maybe for now I'll put this aside because, I mean, I could do this for the rest of the day, but that doesn't really, whoops, help you that much. Okay, so we'll put that aside. Okay, we might as well we'll just take these in the order in which they're piled up here. So perhaps now what we could do, since I pulled out these Caran d'Ache crayons the other day for a video, maybe it's time to use them again. Millions of colors. I don't suppose I needed to bring them all out, but who knows? Okay. So we know that this is a water-soluble wax pastel, it's called. Now, let's pick one with the better. Okay, so there's the actual product name. And these things, what did I say? Yeah, I guess made in France. Okay, so I don't know how they're going to work on here, but I guess there are a couple of choices. Let's see, is this going to, well, I better cut it. Oh. Did you know that when you reach for something, you really should grunt and groan? Just to make people feel kind of like, oh, she's really putting out some effort there. Okay, what I'm going to do on this one is use it dry and then spritz it. Oh, see, that's nice and subtle. And again, work around the surface to make sure that there's an even distribution. I'm really liking this one because this pattern, because the pattern is so raised, it's easy just to hit the high spots. Oh, and look at when I get into when I go beyond the high spots, there's that little pebbly, thing happening. So that's good to know. They look like baby polka dots. So I guess fluky accident, but I guess it sort of stands to reason it would be darker down below. Here's another one in the same color family. Whoa, that was kind of intense. So, okay, let me just kind of hit a few more of these and then I will spray it and see what happens. Maybe I was a little too light with that first color. Again, I don't know because I haven't done this before, but you'd almost think that, a person could have it to dry it and then see what happens. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I do have another jar here of clean water. So there was a bit of pigment in the brush. We will see what happens if I just touch this with a wet brush. I guess it spreads the color. And again, because this is this paper is so textural, because it was created, you know, with that intention in mind that it would take paint. Okay, what happens when we go and touch the little polka dots? I don't know if I like that, to be honest, but I'd better do it someplace else just to make it seem like that was my plan. Of course, you guys won't tell anyone that it was just a whim. Now, I guess it could also be a combination of spreading some of the color from these dots and leaving some as dots. So again, you know, a lot of possibilities. This may be the video that never ends because, okay, I'm going to stop there because I could be putzing away at this all day and we have other things to do. Okay, so we'll put that one to dry. So we've tried that. Now, in that same video where I was using these guys, I also had these distress crayons, and I only have the 3 colors. So let's, again, using the same, maybe I should put some of this away. Okay, let's pick this one. So I'm just, again, same old, same old. Oh, you know what? Let's break this down even further. And this time wet the paper first. So again, clean water. Now, in this case, because I'm quite liberal with this water, it might, wonder why didn't think my water was dirty. It doesn't look dirty. But why, or is that dust that was on the, anyway, you can see that it's just getting, or maybe that's what happens when this gets wet. Because it's really only got a very, you know, I want to say poor, but newsprinty type background. Anyway, okay, we'll pretend that, oh, and see, it's picking up some of the color that is on this parchment. But that could be a happy accident too. Okay, so this is wet. Let's see what happens. I guess I should do this in 3s. Okay, let's see if I can sort of, oh, I said 3s. Let's see if I can sort of activate this. The other thing I've never tried is wetting the end of the crayon. So that's a little more subtle. Okay, let's see what happens if I work this a bit with the brush. It's sort of, well, yeah, it does spread the color. There almost seems like a resist happening, but I don't know that this is my favorite, if these are my favorite product, to be honest. But obviously I've paid for them, so I'll use them. And, you know, maybe these are colors that I don't have in some other sort of a tool. So, again, we'll just set that aside for the time being. Oopsie, do you see that? I went into my clean water. Okay. I also, because I didn't put them away yet, kicking around on my desk were some new Distress Oxide sprays. This was a 3-pack. I bought it at Michael's using a coupon. So I'll put that water aside. And I'm going to, I think we're going to be using a different paper now. This is, let's pick a smaller one. No, let's pick a bigger one. Okay. I'm going to, I don't know why they say to shake these from side to side. Now, who knows? Like, if this was a true experiment, obviously, I would be trying the same technique on different paper designs to see if it makes a difference. Okay, that should be good enough. So I'm going to spritz. And let's see. Oof. Again with the grunting. Oh. Oh. Okay. Now because, can we make this flow a bit? Is that not gorgeous? Mind you, it also, at the risk of turning you off, it also looks like a very bad rash. Ooh, I've never seen such a terrible case of hives before. Okay, let's get something else mixed in there. This is Faded Jeans. Oh, I really like this. Where's my little guy? It looks like cottage cheese. That is a very nice color. Let's see what Salty Ocean is like. There must have been a reason they grouped these in a set. So, okay, so your question might be, well, now what? What are you going to do with these papers? I think that is, it's this, you know, like a politician, I'll give you the usual answer. Journal cover, journal topper thingamajig, signature pages, collage, tags, you name it. Whoa! That, I was getting excited there, and obviously I didn't want to do that. I didn't intend to do that. Now, of course, creator decision as to when you're done. And I think what I like, as I look this over, is that because of the nature of this design, you can't, when I tilt it, or when it spreads just from the sheer force of being wet, it cannot drip. It can't go in rivulets and drip and make, and again, sometimes a person wants that, but I don't know that that's my favorite design thing. So, okay, we stop there. We put that aside. Maybe I should just quickly wipe these. Oh my God. I just sprayed my face. I can't stop the video. Do I have Kleenex? For heaven's sakes, don't ever point this stuff at yourself. That's what I got off my face so far. Probably got my glasses too. Oh, not too bad. Oh, okay. I did say I like the colors, so I guess having a face full of it is not the worst thing. I don't have a mirror here to see what's happening. Am I getting, am I going to have a rash like that? Oh, Lord, give me strength. Okay, a couple other things, and then I better go wash my face. Do we have any other papers to try? Oh, I also have here, and I'm surprised this hasn't gone skunky on me. This is, no, is it tea or is it coffee? Why don't I just spray myself in the face? Let us, no, let's pick a different paper because that one almost looks, let's try this. Oh, this isn't very dark, is it? But maybe a person wanted something really subtle. That's probably tea. Okay, we'll leave that there. I should wipe. Oh, and you know what? I used wax paper to protect my cutting that. But if I would have used a few layers, like maybe have this underneath and then a paper layer on top, it would have created some lovely spray effects. Okay, we haven't really done anything with this one yet. So with this one, why don't we try this same sort of the same sort of thing. Now this is Tattered Rose and it's Distress Oxide. I don't really have a glass going on here, but maybe I can just, maybe this parchment paper will allow me to do that. Oh, you know what? That's kind of dumb. Why don't I put it on here? And then I can, oh, see, again, hits the high spots. And isn't that a nice and simple way to get a color that coordinates with whatever else might be happening in your project? No, I don't know. This, I maybe should have picked a more vivid color, but hopefully you can see what's... Okay, so that's Tattered Rose, which is, again is really soft and pretty. What would happen if I touched it again? Maybe more randomly. Or is it just picking up the... the moisture from the... See, if you wanted some variations, and see, that's why I like this design so much, because to me, it always reminded me of those old walls in European buildings that, you know, are centuries old. I'll just put that there. Okay, I have, I think, just one more technique to try here. We'll use this again. And then we'll look at what has dried so far. Now these pencils are Derwent, and you know, you buy them at an art store, or well, I guess Michael's too probably has them. So these, and I just randomly grabbed a handful. These gray ones are watercolor pencils, Derwent watercolor, and of course there are color names on them. These dark ones are also Derwent, but these are called Inktense. And so let's try one and the other, and then maybe we'll mix them up just for the heck of it. Okay. Maybe since I have a couple of greens here, maybe I will try. Now I think I'm going to I can wet this. I can probably also put it on dry and then wet it after the fact to activate it. This, in case you care, is May Green. Boy, this could have used some sharpening. This one is Mineral Green. There's almost not enough lead showing there to do any good. Let me see if I can... And again, you know, by combining the colors, you get a more realistic, you know, it's like actual. See, and this blue, I mean, this green veers to the bluer side. So rinse the brush, blot on the toilet paper. Now this one, what is this called? Leaf green. Looks like that's like a dark khaki or something. So let's see, and this is the Inktense one. So let's see what happens when we do this one. And I think that it's just, you know, the name probably says it all. It's more intense. Clean brush. So more like an olivey green. Let's try this olive on this. So again, depending on how big a surface, and this is really the only one that sort of looks like, oh, I don't have a scrap of the one that looks with the stripy effect. You know, here you can actually work with the design and pretend that you're doing leaves. Okay. Should we try that on a different design here? Can't wait to show you guys these. Let's try something a little more vibrant. Okay, this one is Shiraz. Oh, Shiraz. Did you enjoy the Shiraz? Okay, maybe I'll do this dry. So I'm just, again, using the side of the pencil. Oh, this is going to be nice. What is this? Violet. Let's throw some violet in there. Deep indigo. Oh, indigo is such a good color. Now, because I'm maybe getting a little more aggressive here, you can see some of these lines. But again, that's probably not the end of the world. That will give a different effect. So I'm just activating the color. Oh, very nice. So, basically, this is looking the same as, I mean, not exactly the same, obviously, as what I did with the Distress Oxide spray. Now, if I would have, let's put that one aside. And let's do another piece of this, but do it more, excuse me, more patchy, like I did with the sprays. So I like these colors, so we'll use them again. So I'm doing, this was Deep Indigo. And of course, if I apply more pressure to the rash, I don't know, it doesn't take much to amuse me, does it? Shiraz. Now, I don't know if you can see it, but when I apply, like these puffiest ones, these biggest ones, they move a bit. So I think that a person could actually damage the paper with enough pressure. And then this was the violet. Yeah. Maybe we want a little more Shiraz. Oh, I said I wasn't going to. I got carried away. I said I was going to leave it patchier. You know what? Let's try the spritzer instead. I should have spritzed my face after I sprayed it with. Now, I guess I could do some blending with the brush. I think that, and again, it still has value, but I think on this one, I put a lot of pigment on there, and that's why this all sort of, you know, they're all touching, they all connect. Because the background on these pretty well stays white, unless you actively work to cover the background, it seems to me that a person could have some really beautiful effects created where you want to accentuate the white, your background color. So let me get rid of this and show, oops, good thing those things are all covered, and show you these things. We'll let this last one dry a bit before we look at it again. Okay, can I figure this out in reverse order? Not that it's gonna matter. I think that they pretty well all dried. And there are a few scraps, so you can be sure that when I turn the camera off, I'm going to be playing some more. Okay, I'll start with these. Let me cover up my water first, because I can just see a flood here. And as it is, I'll have to go and fix my face. Okay. Oh, whoops, that wasn't the first one. This was the first one. Do you love it? You know what this stuff looks like? Styrofoam. The pebbly nature of styrofoam packaging. You know, when you buy electronics or something, or an appliance, and they're, love it. Okay, this may have been the second one. So, same paper. These were still watercolors, but they were the iridescent Sakura. Then there's this one, and this is where I worked down into the bottom layer, so you can see that you can pull out, and that could be another interesting thing. A little hard maybe to do, but probably worth it. Just do the bottom layer and avoid touching the top layer. So you'd have a white on whatever color you choose to do that with. There's this one. And this one, what was this? See, good memory, just short. Oh, were these the Karam? Yeah, I think that by that time we were doing that. This is the Distress. Now this, oh, look at how nice the back is. Hard pressed to know which one I like better. So of course this got quite saturated. And you know that I didn't mean to do that big. But again, I can see using all of these things. Here's another, I think these were the pencils, were they not? This was the Tattered Rose ink pad. This was Coffee Water. And this was, what was this? I don't know. Don't ask me, I don't know. And then this final one. So if I had to put them in, well, it's like picking your favorite kid. Not that easy. I don't know. I love them all. What can I say? In different applications, they're all absolutely perfect. So my suggestion to you is keep your eyes peeled for Anaglypta or Paintable wallpaper. I don't know if you can buy it new anymore. I know that I have lots, and if I had some interest, if you wanted to contact me and say, you know what, put together a grab bag of, you know, swatches for me. So I have 5. Yeah, if I, oh, and there's this one. If I find this, maybe this is the end of it, I don't know. But if I were to find this one, I'd have 6 different designs. But, I mean, 5 different designs is good too. And we didn't try them all. We essentially tried 3 of them. So anyway, I guess, you know, the ball is in your court. If you were interested in asking me to put this together so that you too could play, then I'd be happy to consider that. Thank you so much for joining me. And I'm going to continue doing this for a while longer since I'm dirty already. And we'll see you in the next one, guys. Thank you. Bye.